So here we are again at the Australian Armour and Artillery Museum looking at the static display collection. This time here it's the SU-76M. So this was a piece of self-propelled artillery built by the Soviet Union from 1942 onwards that mounted their 76mm howitzer. It's an open top design and was used in a couple of different roles, primarily infantry support, replacing the role that tanks had previously held in the Soviet Army, providing infantry support. Also anti-tank role, and also providing indirect fire to support infantry and take out hard points. So it's built on the chassis of the T-70, which is a front engine vehicle, and so you have a drive at the front. So here you have a typical sprocket at the front of the vehicle, but it's driven from an engine which is in the front. The driver's hatch is open, so we get a bit of a look inside. Basically, the engine and the transmission are there off to the right of the driver, so a direct connection between the gearbox and the driver via that handle. So I'm sure it was quite noisy and quite a lot of exhaust fumes in that setup. And so you can see that the exhaust runs rearward out of that engine bay to the rear of the vehicle. So yeah, lengthened version of the T-70 chassis. So we've got half a dozen road wheels and a similar wheel at the back, acting as the idler wheel, and a sprocket at the front with 3 return rollers. You can see here that from that chassis, on that chassis, a casemate has been built to house the gun and the area where the crew can operate the gun. So fantastic that we can pop inside and have a bit of a look at the back of this self-propelled gun. So there's the breech of the 76mm howitzer. You can see here radio gear, stowage racks for ammunition canisters, and stowage for the 76mm artillery rounds. Very interesting, and driver's position back in here. So these were produced in large numbers, the second most produced armoured vehicle in the Soviet Union during World War II, after the T-34. So the T-34 tank, medium tank, which we looked at previously in its T-34-85 configuration. This was the second most produced vehicle, and you can see why. Very handy, very light, very good concept. So you've got a great gun, you've got armour that's not too thick, so you're not designing this thing to battle it out with tanks and other armoured vehicles. You've got good mobility and overall a good package in terms of the combination of mobility, firepower and protection. So this is the SU-76M open-topped self-propelled gun here at the Australian Armour and Artillery Museum on day 3 of AusArmourFest.